What's going on, guys? Robert Garcia back here on the Lockdown Defense Sports Network, continuing on the series, this offseason series of tags, titles, and resignations, talking about who's getting tagged, who's getting the bag, and who's going to resign from their current team. This week, we are going to be talking about the AFC East, and a very exciting division, to say the least, going into this offseason. Start with the Patriots, obviously, with the most by far cap space in this division, by over 100 mil, which is insane to think about. From all the other teams in the division, they are just that much more ahead. It's quite mind-boggling. But Patriots are the team in the NFL with the most cap space going into this offseason. So not surprising that, they lead this division, obviously, but definitely surprising that it's by that much. And now what they do with it, now I was just going to say, with all this cap comes a lot of potential. The Patriots definitely have the potential to make a lot of moves here to potentially compete for a playoff spot this year if Drake May is that quarterback that they believe him to be, that the fans and the coaching staff believe him to be. In that division, you could definitely make a wild card spot if, the team around him is good, the run game, the defense, things like that. But you got 120 mil to spend on all of that. Of course, it is a lot to spend on and a lot to work on, but you have the money to do it. So very interesting to see with the new coaching regime. In my opinion, they really didn't give Mayo a chance, but that's a whole topic for another video. I am curious to see what this regime does with all this money. Moving on next to the team with the second most cap space, that is the New York Jets. I say second most in the division, it's only 18 mil. Man, the Jets are kind of left scrambling. It's a little disheartening in some cases. Not for me, because they just deserve all the bad stuff that happens to them. They kind of knew they should have known what they were getting themselves into when Aaron Rodgers was signed there. And then you just hear the reports coming out that Woody Johnson's kids Woody Johnson is making decisions based on Madden overall ratings that his kids are telling him about, and just the entire incompetency of that organization is truly bizarre and quite sad, to say the least. I really do feel for Jets fans. That can't be fun. So yeah, 18 mil. Honestly, don't know what they're going to do with it. I can't even trust anything that they do at this point. The only thing is, we know Rodgers isn't coming back, so I guess that's a positive. But this team very well might be bottom of the barrel this coming season. Might very well be in contention for a number 1 overall pick. We will see. Moving on next to the Miami Dolphins, who one of the two teams in this division with negative cap space. They are going to have to offload a lot this offseason. Not sure what they're going to do, considering a lot of their free agents aren't big name or like big contract players. So there's going to have to be a lot of restructures. It's tough for Miami. Tua Tagovailoa has not panned out like they had hoped, and This is the ramifications of of going all in and really only having one playoff appearance to show for it. Twice, maybe they actually no. I think they might have two, but Tua only played in one of those games. Excuse me. And then we get to the bottom of the division. It's the Bills, and although they had an amazing season, we knew going into this season for them, it was going to be a rebuild. They obviously had a lot of cap to unload. They still have a lot of cap to unload, clearly, as they are 13 mil in the hole going into this offseason. But they still won the division with a roster full of rookies and young players. So that is a great sign for them moving forward. We'll see what contract restructures they do and things like that to try to get back into positive cap space. But we'll go ahead and talk about some of the free agents for each of these teams, and we'll start with the Bills, in fact, going with Amari Cooper and Rasul Douglas. Obviously, Amari Cooper was a midseason acquisition, rental at the very most, that I don't know what I was trying to say there. But yeah, very much just a rental. So we all knew he was going to be gone at the end of the season. Rasul Douglas was kind of a big signing-ish coming from Green Bay. Played very very valuable snaps on that defense, and the Bills defense that was, a very good defense this year, to say the least. Better than some of these other teams in the AFC, at least, which is all you really need. So we'll see what the Bills do with that. The Dolphins losing Kendall Fuller and Raheem Mostert. They've already announced that Raheem Mostert is not coming back, so he is already gone, and Kendall Fuller, of course, being one of their starting cornerbacks. Jets, moving on to them, are losing Hassan Reddick, which, he had that whole kind of contract dispute. They didn't want to pay him after trading for him, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to pay him when you knew that he wanted a contract. That's why Philly traded him. And just again, going into the incompetency that is the New York Jets organization. And DJ Reed, who is a very good cornerback, I believe 29 years of age. And he's already expressed his desire to leave the organization and sign elsewhere. I think he's looking at like a $50+ million contract, if I was reading those reports correctly. And for the Patriots, really not a lot of notable names that are leaving. But Jonathan Jones and Jacoby Brissett were two of the most known names, in my opinion. I really don't. Well, I'll save the thought for the next slide, which is my projections for franchise tags, re-signs, and goodbyes. Starting over with the franchise tags because it is the least interesting group of the bunch. The Patriots, like I said, they have $120 million in cap space. Absolutely no reason to franchise tag anybody in that division. I mean, it's just money it'd be wasting money at that point. They are preparing for this rebuild to finally enter the exciting stage, as people would call it, where you have the QB, you have a ton of cap space, you got the head coach, so Mike Vrabel, so you're kind of excited. This is where Chargers fans were for a little bit when Herbert balled out his rookie season. Obviously, Lynn gets fired. We hire Brandon Staley, who at the time everybody loved, and if you're a Charger fan and you're denying it, I would love to see your proof, because when he got hired, everybody was loving it. But this is all just to say that the Patriots are entering a very exciting time in the rebuild. They hope. So with that being said, nobody to franchise tag on their end. Same for the Dolphins and the Bills. They are both two teams that are in negative cap space. So even if they wanted to franchise tag somebody, they couldn't. And like I said, there's also just nobody on either of those teams that are free agents this year that are worth franchise tagging, even if they could. But we'll get to the Jets, which are the only team that could afford to franchise tag a player. Obviously, they needed to make some moves beforehand. With only $18 million, you wouldn't be able to do it just based off this money alone. But it would be Javon Kinlaw, in my opinion, if there's anybody that they were going to re-sign. I really could put none here for the Jets, and it would make 100% sense because they are going to be entering a long and brutal rebuild. So they really don't want to get any more money under their books. But it's the Jets. Like I said, don't need to repeat myself on them. So I could definitely see them making some kind of boneheaded move, like using a franchise tag on a player. But if they were going to use it on anybody, it would be on Javon Kinlaw. Moving over to the re-signs of each team, Patriots, nobody to re-sign. This is, like I said, Patriots kind of boring part now. And we'll get into the goodbyes later once we're into that. But the Patriots, they have no need to re-sign anybody. This is a long, drawn-out rebuild that is finally coming to fruition. This is just a season where you're hoping to see Drake May take those steps, see this team take some steps with some much-needed signings with all that cap space. A lot of their guys that are on the team that they would want to keep aren't free agents, so no need to re-sign anybody. Just go out and make good signings. Now moving on to the Jets, I believe Tyler Conklin would be a good player to re-sign. I don't see them, potentially franchise tagging him. This was somebody I also thought about putting over for the Jets for a franchise tag. I think the franchise tag for tight ends is only like $11 million or something like that. It's not anything crazy. So they could definitely afford it, but like I said, they're entering a rebuild, so there's just no need for them to waste that kind of money. But if Tyler Conklin wants to take a discount, he's a serviceable tight end, can block, can provide some good catches. So he's just kind of one of those value pieces that you don't pay a whole lot for, but you just want to stick around. Same goes for Liam Eichenberg for the Dolphins. He is their center, their starting center this past season. Had some serviceable numbers, only allowed 2 whole sacks on the season, which is really solid. But like I said, they're in negative cap space, so re-signing players, they're going to need to make some moves first, some contract negotiations, some renegotiations on some contracts. So we'll see what the Jets are able to do in that. And then moving over to the Bills, I really do think Ty Johnson is a player that they're going to be looking to re-sign. James Cook, and we'll get into the goodbye, I guess, kind of tying this into it. James Cook has already expressed his desire for a new contract, and we've already talked about the Bills and their cap space situation right now. So they really can't afford to give him one, at least not right now in their current situation. Like I said, they could make some moves, let some people go, renegotiate some contracts, see if they can make the money for it. But if they can't and they let James walk or he gets traded, I think Ty Johnson is somebody that they really like, especially out of the backfield, catching the ball, running kind of on those third down play designs for him. So I think he's somebody that the Bills will definitely try to bring back. And moving over kind of into the goodbyes now, as I already mentioned, for James Cook, I think the Bills will not be able to afford him and he will be going somewhere else. For the Finns, I do think Kendall Fuller is gone as well. They're going to have a lot of things to answer this offseason. That bill is due, as they would say. Obviously, the whole Tyreek Hill situation has gone haywire. He has since apologized and everything, but still, the fact that that's happening is definitely concerning, to say the least. I think the Jets lose DJ Reed. He's like I already mentioned, his desire to leave and his contract projections that he's going to sign somewhere. And for the Patriots, it's everyone because, like I said, there's just no need to sign anybody. They're in a full rebuild. They're excited. They're going to get a bunch of fresh young talent. They already have a lot of fresh young talent that they're excited about. Some rookies that got some serviceable playing time last season. And it's about just developing Drake May even further now and seeing what they can do in this division. It's still the Bills division, but the Patriots are definitely looking to get back to relevance and, obviously try to get back to those winning ways with Tom Brady. But, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But with that being said, guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily content every day during the week for any and all MLB, NFL teams. If you want to talk about it in the comments, please give us your feedback down below. I would love to argue and debate with you guys in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have fantastic days wherever you are. And until then, we will see you next time.